Alrighty trainers, TaeganAdventures here. So in a few hours time, Raikou will be making its way to tier 5 raids in Pokemon Go, along with its two other legendary beast counterparts, Entei and Suicune. Now this video will just be talking about Raikou, your best strategies for taking it on, and how it might fare in PvP, raids, etc. Basically its battle prowess. So without further ado, let's dive into this video here. It's going to be a real shocker, pun totally intended, and yeah, let's just dive right into this video here. Now Raikou, being an electric type, has a mostly electric type move pool consisting of Thundershock and Volt Switch for its fast moves, Wild Charge, Thunderbolt, Shadow Ball, and Thunder as charge moves. It's interesting that Raikou gets Shadow Ball as a form of coverage, especially when going up against a more bulky opponent or an opponent that is immune to the electric type attacks like ground types. Shadow Ball is definitely a pretty useful coverage there. Now the one thing I like to point out is its stats. It's got really good base stats: 207 base HP, 241 base attack, and 195 base defense, so it's pretty good overall as a Pokemon. If you have a look at its move pool, you'll notice that Wild Charge is at the top of the pack here. It has the best cycle DPS among all of Raikou's movesets here, so make sure it has Wild Charge because it is going to be a valuable asset to add onto your team, especially if you want to do raids. Raikou is going to be a very useful Pokemon. More details on that later in this video. Now some of the newer players, or those who missed out on Raikou raid day, might not know how to deal with the Raikou in tier 5 raids in Pokemon Go. So right now I'm going to go over Raikou's weaknesses and the best Pokemon to use on a Raikou when it hits tier 5 raids in Pokemon Go. Now Raikou, being a mono-electric type, is only weak to ground type moves here, so moves like Earthquake, Mud Slap, and Earth Power are going to be really effective on a Raikou. Ground type Pokemon are mostly going to be used on this guy right here. Pokemon like Groudon, Rhyperior, Garchomp, all of which have really good attacks and really good attack stats. Groudon especially, because Groudon at level 30 and max attack IVs has an attack stat of 208, meaning that its Mud Shot and Earthquake will be hitting like a truck. Likewise, Garchomp also gets Mud Shot and Earthquake and has a monstrous attack of 201 at level 30 and perfect attack IVs, so its Mud Shot and Earthquake will hit like a truck as well, although it's slightly behind Groudon in terms of DPS, but it has the better TDO overall compared to Groudon. TDO is a little hard to calculate here, so I've not listed it on my infographic here that I put on the side, but just note that Garchomp is much tankier than Groudon and takes electric type hits much better than the Groudon can. If you don't have a Groudon or Garchomp, you can always opt for Rhyperior. Garchomp and Groudon are pretty hard to obtain in Pokemon Go, so Rhyperior can be used as a stand-in. With Mud Slap and Earthquake, it gets access to two of the best ground type moves in Pokemon Go so far, so definitely use a Rhyperior if you don't have a Groudon or Garchomp. However, you should prioritize using a Groudon, especially since it was available in Research Breakthrough boxes, and Groudon has appeared in tier 5 raids 3 times in 2019 in tier 5 raids in Pokemon Go, so Groudon has been pretty accessible lately for those newer players who might not have gotten Groudon the first time it came out. So yeah, other alternatives you might want to consider are Mamoswine and Swampert. Mamoswine does get Ice-type moves, but the one we want to focus on is Mud Slap and Bulldoze. With both moves being super effective on Raikou and Mamoswine being a ground-type Pokemon, it's basically going to be very tanky, just like Rhyperior and Garchomp, but it doesn't have the edge in terms of DPS, so if you prefer DPS over TDO, you might want to prioritize your Groudons or your Garchomps. Otherwise, if you want a bit more bulk behind your attackers, I would definitely suggest you use a Mamoswine or a Rhyperior. Garchomp is perfect as well, actually. Honorable mention include Swampert with Mud Shot and Earthquake, Gastrodon with Mud Slap and Earth Power, and Hippowdon with Fire Fang and Earth Power, or Bite and Earth Power. Earth Power is a much better move compared to Earthquake in Pokemon Go. Consider the honorable mentions, especially since Mudkip has appeared 2 times this year, once during Community Day and once during the Water Festival that just passed. If you don't have a Mamoswine, Groudon, Garchomp, or Rhyperior, you can always opt for one of these honorable mentions right here. Raikou should be easily taken out by a group of 4 to 6 players around level 30, so definitely plan your raids accordingly if you're planning to raid in a group. If you need more firepower, definitely bring more people around to help defeat Raikou in tier 5 raids. If you're wondering about the perfect IV CPs, it'll be 1972 for a regular level 20 encounter, non-weather boosted, so any other weather apart from rainy. At level 25, which is in weather boosted conditions, aka rainy weather, your Raikou will be at a CP of 2466 for a 100% Raikou. For your best shot at a weather boosted Raikou, definitely try hunting in weather boosted conditions, which is rainy weather weather. But if you want a boost on all of your ground type moves, definitely try playing in sunny weather, because that's when your ground type moves are gonna do extra damage. Now in terms of Raikou's attacking prowess, you can see that Raikou comes in almost at the top here in terms of electric type DPS. Second only to Electivire, Raikou is definitely a very good attacker in terms of its DPS here. Zapdos coming in at a very close third with its event move Thundershock, followed up by Magnezone, Luxray, and just basically different movesets of Electivire, Zapdos, Magnezone, and the like. Now if you look at TDO here, Raikou comes in at the very top of the list here. Raikou with Thundershock and Wild Charge, as I've just said, is a very good moveset on Raikou, Wild Charge especially. Now if you take into account both DPS and TDO, you can see that Thundershock, Wild Charge, Raikou is at the very top again, followed up very closely by Zapdos and more Zapdos and Electivire movesets, Magnezone even. Luxray is all the way down at 16th place, so Luxray is not the best electric type attacker, but still pretty damn good, I must say. Raikou is a premier electric type attacker, along with Zapdos and Electivire. Those are your three best electric type attackers. Raikou definitely stands out because it has really high TDO compared to Electivire, Zapdos, and Magnezone. Even Magnezone with the Seal type, providing it a lot of resistances, still has lower TDO. So definitely Wild Charge Raikou is the premier electric type attacker in Pokemon Go as of right now. Now with its DPS and TDO, Raikou can definitely be used as an electric type attacker in raids and gyms. Taking on all those water and flying types, it's going to do pretty darn well. And in PvP, unfortunately, you can't get a Raikou under 1500 CP from a raid, so it's completely off the list for Great League. But if you want to try for an Ultra League Raikou, it's still definitely in the realm of possibility, because you can get a Raikou that's under 2500 CP at level 25. Raikou makes for a force to be reckoned with in the Ultra League, so definitely keep those Raikous around in your inventory. Who knows, you might need them for raids, for gyms, even heck PvP down the line when more raid bosses and more new Pokemon get added into the metagame. And yeah, Raikou is just basically a very good electric type in Pokemon Go. So that brings me to the end of my Raikou guide here. Hopefully you've learned something from this video. If not, please like, share this to a trainer in need, and hopefully they can learn from this video as well. If you like this video, definitely hit that thumbs up button, leave a comment below for any future ideas or suggestions. I'll be reading every comment and taking in all your suggestions, so definitely fire away with questions. This is where I'll be leaving this video for now, and I'm just going to be signing off right now. This has been TaeganAdventures, and I shall see you next time. Peace out.